so that way I don't forget. But I would like to officially welcome you all to our doing business session for today. We are doing business with Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati. And let me get my screens situated here as we were discussing earlier so I can share my screen and still see everybody's face. There we go. So we are excited to have Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati joining us today. Our Doing Business series is an opportunity for us to kind of sit and chat with all of our corporate partners and have the opportunity to share, for them to share with us about how more about their business and then how to do business with them. So that's what we will have going on today. Before we fully get started, I just want to introduce our team. We are led by our fearless leader, Lenny Smith, who is our president and CEO. I'm Dr. Kitiana Lowe. I'm the director of administration. And then we also have Colleen Rudisil, who's our director of certification and outreach, and our chief marketing officer, Stephen Easley. And then we round up our team with Angela Ruff and Robert Moore, who are part of our certification department, and Byron Stallworth, who is our corporate relations consultant. Let me let somebody else in the room here. There we go. And so without further ado, I would like to go ahead and introduce our first speaker here from the bank.
Thank you, Dr. K. For those of you that are not familiar with the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati, we actually are in downtown Cincinnati. And if you by chance had to travel into the office today, it was a journey because we had a number of people that ran into traffic. I guess a lot of the roads ended up getting closed or something like that. So we had a number of folks that were a little frustrated when they got into the office today. So well, without further ado, I'll go ahead and do some quick introductions. So I'm Brian Comp. I'm the CIO here at the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati. We'll give you a little bit more insight into who the Federal Home Loan Bank system is and why we are around and what our business is. So, but I also chair the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Subcontracting Committee, or the Contracting Subcommittee. And our goal is to do outreach with diverse and suppliers and find folks, particularly in our region, that can help our bank continue to diversify our contracting organizations and those that we procure from. I've been at the bank about 8 years. I took over as the CIO about the time the pandemic started. So I don't know if those two coincided or what, but it's been a fun 4 years. We spent the first 2 years, year and a half working from home, and that's we're an organization that never really worked from home before 2020. So it's been a real journey for us. I also want to introduce Joel Galloway. Joel is, I'll suggest, my right hand when it comes to everything that gets done around the bank. Joel is our AVP of Workplace Operations. In some organizations, that would be called an admin services, facilities group, procurement, vendor relations. So Joel wears many hats, and he looks a little bit like Superman with the glasses. So and he really is. He really keeps the bank moving. Joel is the vice chair of our contracting subcommittee, so he also helps me drive the diversity solutions that we strive to keep up with. Also joining us is Jessica Hanneman. Jessica, I think her tenure is probably twice what mine is, and maybe 3 times what mine is. We're pretty sure she joined the bank when she was about 12 years old, but. And Jessica, you've been at the bank. I know it's over 20 years, but I don't remember.
I started in 2001.
Which was an amazing time to start at the Federal Home Loan Bank system, just because of everything going on in the economy and everything after 9/11. So, also joining us, who we didn't produce a bio for, is Michael Enriquez. Michael is over our vendor risk and management program. Michael, I think I can credit you with the contracting subcommittee. You were the first chair to drive that a number of years ago when the bank started really looking at our diversity, equity, and inclusion. Michael spends a lot of time with our external vendors and partners ensuring that we've made sure that they're not causing more risk to the bank, and that we've done a good job reviewing that vendor and how they're going to work with us. So, but without further ado, to give you a little bit more insight, we decided that a marketing video could probably tell the story much better than any of us or all of us together can. And then we're going to go in a little bit deeper. So Dr. K, if you don't mind sharing the video, and then we'll go from there. It's just a couple minutes.
The cities, towns, and neighborhoods across America rely on financial capital and credit to help build strong and vibrant communities. To provide loans to local families, farms, businesses, and governments, community lenders need capital. And they get that from their regional financial services partner, the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati.
FHLB Cincinnati is one of 11 federal home loan banks in the United States, and we've been operating since 1932. In many ways, we're a bank for other financial institutions. As a regional wholesale bank, we provide financial services for residential housing and economic development to financial institutions in Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee.
Our more than 600 members include banks, thrifts, credit unions, insurance companies, and community development financial institutions. What's really unique about FHLB is that we're a cooperative, which means our members are also our owners.
At the Federal Home Loan Bank, our mission is threefold. First, we want to provide our members with reliable access to financial services that help them achieve their objectives for liquidity and asset liability management. Second, we want to make a positive impact on the communities our members serve by facilitating housing finance and community investment activities. And finally, we want to provide these services in a manner that delivers a competitive return on the capital investment.
We have 5 core areas of business at FHLB Cincinnati. First, through our advance programs, we provide fully secured loans or advances with flexible terms and competitive interest rates. Second, our letters of credit program provides members a cost-effective way to support infrastructure and public unit deposits.
Third, we offer a mortgage purchase program. By selling fixed mortgage loans to FHLB, our members increase liquidity and minimize risk. Fourth, our correspondent services like safekeeping and deposit accounts assist members with their back office operations and investment decisions.
The fifth core area, our community investment services, is the heart of FHLB Cincinnati. We offer below market advances for affordable housing and community lending, and we provide a range of grants to our members, including those for affordable housing, special needs home modifications, disaster reconstruction, and military veteran home purchases. As an organization, we set aside at least 10% of our profits to the communities in our district. These programs help people access a home, stay in their home, or live safely at home.
At the Federal Home Loan Bank, we're here for our membership in whatever capacity they need, and that's woven into our core values. In everything we do, every day, we strive to be dependable, customer-focused, inclusive, results-driven, and change-oriented. Whether that's providing guidance, educational offerings, outreach programs, or financial resources, we're a source of stability for our members. We'll always be here, regardless of the economic environment.
FHLB Cincinnati is committed to helping our members build stronger, more prosperous communities. To learn more about our programs and members, visit us online at FHLBCIN.com.
I get a little choked up every time I see that video, because it really does inspire those of us that came to work for the Federal Home Loan Bank with a mission that we can all get behind. And when I came to interview at the Federal Home Loan Bank, I really didn't know much about them. We're kind of like the E.F. Hutton of the financial services group, and it really when you start to look at what we accomplish and how much we do for the communities, it's pretty significant, and we're very proud of that, as you can imagine. So we'll go ahead and go into the presentation unless anybody has any questions. We'll dig a little deeper into some of the concepts that were presented in that video. So, all right. So the FHLB system, you saw some of the folks on the video referring to the system in general. So there are 11 federal home loan banks. You can see the major cities there. We were created by Congress over 90 years ago at this point we're closing in on our 100-year mark. Um, we even though we have federal in our name, we are not a federal entity. So we are what they refer to as a government-sponsored enterprise, GSE. A little bit of variation of difference in that we're not subsidized by the federal government. We have, I'll say, peer organizations that you've probably heard of, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, who also are have federal in their name, but they are organizations that are subsidized by the federal government. So we act independent. Each of our banks is a separate GSE, and we're jointly and severably liable for one another. So a number of years ago, for instance, the Seattle Bank saw the reason to merge with the Des Moines Bank, and so what you probably would see if the Federal Home Loan Bank system desired to streamline would be an absorption of territories. So across the system, we have almost 7,000 member banks. So think of every banking institution, every credit union, every thrift organization. For the most part, they all have a relationship with the Federal Home Loan Bank in the geography that each of us serves. So um, I think one of the comments in that video really resonates with me in that we are the bank for the banks. And we act as a cooperative. It was mentioned that our members actually are our owners. And so most of our board is made up of bank presidents in our region and folks that help us decide on how we're going to move forward. I think one of the things I'm most proud of over the past few years, we've always given 10% of the bank's profits back to the communities we serve. And that number has increased to about 15%. And Joel or Michael or Jessica, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know this year we're expecting to give over 50 million back to the communities that we serve. And that's done through grants as well as low cost loans and other things that folks can take advantage of. If you're familiar with the first time homebuyers down payment assistance, that is usually distributed through the Federal Home Loan Bank system. So if Fifth Third offers you 5,000 or now it's as high as 20,000 in down payment assistance, that's funded through the things that we give back to our communities. The other thing we do infrequently is there are projects that may need a level of funding to get the project started. Our members can apply for us to assist with that. And so a lot of the housing projects that are out in the cities that we serve, the Federal Home Loan Bank system might be the last group to get in to help fund that project and get it started. So, and I would be remiss if I didn't say the Office of Finance, which is our funding arm. So they go out and they issue debt. The statistic that I've heard our president say on a number of occasions is that we are the second largest lender in only next to the Federal Reserve. So when the Office of Finance goes out to the market to get to issue debt, they do it in a pretty sizable way, and that's how we have the funds we do to keep the banks moving. And so you can kind of see the cyclical relationship with the banks and how we keep the financial system healthy and moving. When I joined the bank, one of the things I saw as I was doing some research was that the Federal Home Loan Bank system, a lot of people attributed to the reason that the economy didn't collapse in the 2007, 2008 timeframe because we were there to keep the banks solvent, that did stay solvent and keep the economy afloat. So we're a big and very proud of our role in the financial marketplace. So if you would please move to the next slide. So Cincinnati, the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati, we're about 250 employees. We serve Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Our corporate office is in the Atrium Building in downtown Cincinnati. We also have facilities in other parts of the states. We also have representatives in those areas. The main ways that we serve our members is through a couple programs. We have advances, so they can come to us and get a loan. We charge a very low interest rate that they can then leverage that money to grow the community that they serve. We also have what we call letters of credit. So it's a promissory note for a loan in the future if that organization or bank so needs it. We also have a mortgage purchase program similar to what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac do. We are able to purchase mortgages. I will suggest that the Federal Home Loan Bank system is a very conservative purchaser of mortgages. We really look at the most pristine mortgages as part of our portfolio, but we're also we also are I say we scrutinize those things very closely to make sure that they're not going to cause more risk to our organization. I talked about our housing program, another area that we're very proud of, and our community investment. And those are the four main areas that we serve in the states that we provide services to, if you will. So diversity, equity, inclusion, and I credit Michael. He started the contracting subcommittee. We meet at least 4 times a year. We spend a lot of time, I'll say, making sure that we're doing all the right things. Our examiners, we're regulated by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which is part of the Office of Inspector General. They come in and they ensure, and we provide them a lot of data, that we're moving our programs forward and we're continuing to invest in diverse suppliers. We've got a similar program on our employment, as well as in our treasury or capital markets area, that they're making sure that they're looking at opportunities with diverse suppliers in the capital markets area. Joe, Jessica, if you want to add anything, please, let me know. But I'll continue going if you don't have anything you want to add. So
doing great, Brian.
All right, thank you. So supplier engagement, we do a number of things to outreach and try to make sure that we're meeting diverse suppliers, folks that can help us move our business forward. Joel and I probably, between our two departments, we are probably responsible for, I'll say, 2/3, maybe even more of the bank's purchases. And so we end up spending a lot of time trying to develop these new relationships, getting diverse suppliers who maybe want to do business with the Federal Home Loan Bank. Because I run IT, I think probably people look at our department as the one that spends a lot of money, but I think Joel's right up there equivalent to me. But we do look at who we can partner with and move our initiatives forward. You could go to the next slide. So what kind of opportunities does the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati have? Well, Joel's listed a couple at the top. Those are what I'll say commodities, goods, but we also have a number of services that that we have opportunities in. So some of those services are staffing. While I said we have 250 employees, we typically have 50 to 75 contractors or consultants that are helping us with a number of initiatives, everything from project management to data engineering to things up in our enterprise risk area, resources that can help us with software engineering and development. So a number of things that we entertain. We also have a number of needs around the goods that we purchase. As you can imagine, an organization of our size does require computers, does require furniture, automobiles. We have a number of events. We have a public affairs group that works to ensure we're out in the marketplace, and so they have event that they coordinate. Our marketing team coordinates a number of events during the year. So those are all business opportunities that we offer out to our partners. So.
Hey Brian, I did want to chime in on something if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, I want to go backwards to how we engage with diverse businesses.
Wait a minute, you didn't say we're going backwards.
Well,
okay.
We're moving forward.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So we are actively trying to bolster our portfolio of vendors that we work with. And that's one of the reasons why we're involved in discussions like this. And it's very important for us to reach out to as many diverse businesses as possible. And so a group introduction is wonderful. But we also get involved in things like diverse supplier trade fairs, so we can meet as many people as possible. But then we also like to have direct business to business meetings. That allows us to be a little bit more, we'll say, intentional with the discussion around what kinds of services or goods you might be providing, and then where we have the need for engagement. So that we have those as more directly targeted discussions. And if you feel that you might have some business need, or not business need, but if you could provide services for us or potentially goods, we would welcome your contacting us to have those kinds of discussions. The other thing that I also wanted to talk about is how you might learn of business opportunities. At this time, we're still trying to create the best avenue for broadcasting opportunities. We used to use a service called Connexus to post whenever something came up that we wanted to get broadcast out. They no longer have that third-party posting service. So in the meantime, our intention is to reach out. We would be sending that information over to Dr. K's team and ask for some assistance for distributing those kinds of opportunities. But we will continue to search out other ways to get this to get the information out to anyone, so you can access it and see what's going on. But we would also invite folks just to reach out to purchasing to find out what might be out there. So anyway, just wanted to mention that real quick.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Joel. A lot of our major initiatives, we do issue RFPs. That's part of our procurement process. But as Joel said, we try to also get to know our suppliers and find the opportunities that might fit their business model and how they would work with a Federal Home Loan Bank. The other thing that we do is we share a number of contacts with our other FHLB peers. So I mentioned that we all act independently, but we do share information and ideas and thoughts. Joel and Jessica participate in an annual event, a meet and greet, where we often will have representatives from our region that our peers get to meet, and we get to meet some of the folks that they've been able to partner with on the business side. So there's a number of good ways that we can get to know one another and understand how we can support the Federal Home Loan Bank's mission. So let's move on. I guess that's it. So I guess at this point, any questions or comments? things you guys would like to discuss?
I have a few.
Okay. Hi, Julie.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Julie Courtney. I'm one of the founders and owner of Madison Design. We're in Covington.
Okay.
And we do brand and digital marketing work. And so I've noticed you have very nice materials. You have a nice brand. You're very consistent with it from what I've seen. But I wondered, I have a couple questions. When you talk about, well, number one, I don't know if there would be any opportunities for us to partner because I know sounds like you have a marketing department, but we help with a lot of different types of things for different corporations. We do video work, we do motion graphics. We lately have been specializing in ESG reports. We've been doing that for Marriott, for P&G, Cintas. We did an impact report. So we're very familiar with that kind of work. I guess my question would be, do you have would that type of work be done outside your marketing department? And my other question is, would some of your peer organizations that are, I saw across the country, like you said you work independently. So would there be like a shared report for all of those organizations, or do you have your own?
So we each have our own, to answer your second question first, we
Mm-hmm.
each have our own annual report, and you can go out to any of the websites for any of the FHLBs and see their annual reports for a number of years, and ours are out there as well.
Okay.
We do have a marketing department, but it's a small group, and
Mm-hmm.
not only do they handle marketing, but they also handle public affairs. So we interact with Congress and Senate quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
because they are stakeholders in what the Federal Home Loan Bank system does. So marketing, public affairs, they work very closely together. We do, as far as I know, and Joel and Jessica can probably give you more details, but we do rely on partners if on the marketing side because they're a small department, as you can imagine,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Yeah.
try very hard to keep our brand and our image in front of our stakeholders in a very professional way. So,
Mm-hmm.
Joel or Jessica, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, and I'll bolster what Brian just said. I mean, we do partner in a number of different areas that you might think, you do all that in house, but we try to leverage other organization superpowers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that we may be good at certain things, but not the best at all things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also good to keep your thumb on the pulse of the market.
Yeah.
And by engaging with someone, like your company, you have relationships with a bunch of different businesses, right? So you have a good
Yeah.
view of what that cross section looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Our market is a little more targeted, so we may not have some of that breadth of understanding and experience. So, I think it's certainly something that we are always open to, is looking at those kinds of partnerships.
Great. Is your key, I want to make sure I understand from the presentation you shared, are your key audiences usually consumer, like more consumer type people, or are they other businesses?
It's
Yeah,
business to business.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, it's business to business. So
Got it.
our largest member is JP Morgan. And we
Okay.
have small members like People's Bank in Eminence, Kentucky, or someplace like that. So
Got it.
we have a number of smaller banks that make up
Mm-hmm.
a small, I'll say a smaller portion of our business, but then we have very large banks that have a charter with us that make up a larger portion of our business. So and we typically don't have to market too much to the larger group It's really the smaller groups that we spend a fair amount of time getting to know them and what their needs are and how they could leverage the Federal Home Loan Bank to grow their
Got it.
community.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
You're fine. I was like, Karina, do you have any questions?
I don't. Are we going to get a copy of the presentation?
Yep. Yeah. So you'll have probably by tomorrow, you'll get a copy of the recording as well as the presentation. So everybody's contact information is in that slide. I'll pull that back up as well.
Okay.
So that way, if there's anything that you want to take note of, like right away, you'll
Thank
have
you.
that. But yeah, that will
Okay.
definitely come via email.
That would be great. I appreciate it.
Of course. Of course.
And Karina, are you a business owner or?
I am with Acclache. We are a workforce solutions company. So we provide staffing for all kinds of our clients, whether it's direct hire across the country or within Ohio, contingent for special projects, or on a temporary basis to see if they're the right fit type thing. So I don't know if that's something that would pair well with what you guys do on your day to day, but we have several different clients across the board.
Yes, our human resources department drives a lot of our staffing, whether it's contractors or permanent staff. We can certainly put you in contact with them. We do use a number of contract organizations. So we have,
Okay.
like I said, typically we have at least 50 contractors working for us. And
Okay.
sometimes, depending on the projects initiatives, that could drive up to closer to 75 or 100. So.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Great.
Jessica or Michael, you have anything that you want to add or share? At least want to come off mute and say hi to everybody.
Yep, there we go. I figure it out. Oh.
Jessica shared with me this morning she's getting ready to go on vacation at 1 o'clock today. I don't know how precise that was.
Awesome.
He's rushing us off the call then.
It's very precise, Brian, very precise.
So and she's going to take the opportunity to fly out west, I guess, and go to Disney and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
How many times have you been to Disney, Jessica?
Oh, I started going to Disney in 2018, and I think I've gone like 6 times since then.
Oh my gosh,
Like, I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm starting my
great.
vacation in Vegas. So, and it's going to be hot. Like,
Yes.
it's going to be like 20 degrees hotter than it is right now in Cincinnati. So I'm trying to prepare myself for that.
Yes. Yes. I remember the very first time that I went to Vegas, the auto doors opened. And like I didn't even step out and my glasses just immediately fogged up. We went in July.
Oh my gosh.
It's just like I was like, whoa, it's a completely different type of heat than it is in Ohio.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
I would just want to share that if at some point in the future we were able to do business with any of you all or any type entity, we try really hard to ensure that our processes are not too onerous on these new vendors as we bring them on board. A lot of that will depend on the nature of the work and what that potential risk is. But even so, we try to have the processes such that we work with you, and if that means holding your hand through the process, we'll do that. So that just to make it easy for you, so that you can have a good experience working with the bank.
That's great.
That's awesome.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's cool.
Thank you.
That's a great point, Michael.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Michael, because that is kind of a key component of doing business with us as well. We are a highly regulated entity, even though we are, but like Brian said, the federal in our name is kind of one from history, not necessarily because we are a federal entity, but our regulating agency, the FHFA, does have certain requirements, and some of that does mean that we have to go through the paces with bringing on new vendors. So it may seem like a lot, but the work that Michael and Jessica do day to day process is as straightforward as possible is very key in what we do.
And I will add, we recently went through an examination from our examiners, our regulator, and our program came out looking well. So I was pleased to see that. So
awesome.
Yeah, they put Michael through his paces pretty much every few years. And, we do have a lot of I'll say steps and hurdles sometimes, but we try to minimize that, particularly with the partners that may not have the size and scale of some of the large organizations that we might purchase from.
Right.
So Michael's really good at holding people's hand through the process. So. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Awesome. Yes.
Well,
So
thank
before
you
we
so
move,
much for your time.
I want to, before we all get off, I want to share my screen one other time. And I would like for those of you who are not on your phones accessing this, for you to pull out your phones and scan this QR code. And it's just going to take you to a very brief survey. We always like to capture as much feedback as possible about the webinars and events that we do. So that way we can tweak them and change them and make them better. So I will pause 1 second for that. And then while you are filling that out, I just want to share some upcoming events that we have for those who may be newly certified, or if you know someone who is newly certified, we do have a newly certified onboarding workshop coming up on the 20th. That actually was yesterday because today's the 22nd. No, it's not June. All my months are jacked up. It is still May. So yes, coming up June 20th, that's coming up. And then we're doing our next Doing Business series is with Quanta. That is on the 25th of June. And then on the 26th of June, so we've got a busy week that week, is our Pitch Pro Talks from Storyboard to Stage. And so that will be an opportunity to have actually one of your fellow WBEs share with you on how to perfect your pitch. And really that's in preparation of the pitch competition, which takes place at Catch the Wave, which is the last one that I have on here. So please make sure that you mark your calendars and plan to attend. August the 26th through the 28th is Catch the Wave. This is actually our 15th anniversary. It's going to be in Cincinnati this year. So we're super excited about that. And I believe registration will open this Friday for that. So make sure that you mark your calendar for the event. Make sure you mark your calendar for registration to open. Hotel block closes like the middle of July. So you definitely want, if you want a hotel, either because you're coming from out of town or because you just want a weekend getaway, that's someplace that you'll want to go ahead and hop on that and join us there as well. And that is all that I have. I would like to thank everyone for joining. And I would like to thank Joel and Jessica and Michael and Brian. And I say for you to work for banks, you all are like an amazing, fun bunch. I feel like I'm going to miss you guys. Nothing but laughs every time that we've been together. So I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your schedules to be with us today. Like I said before, this recording will be sent out probably by tomorrow. You'll have everything in your email box. And Jessica, I want to tell you to have a great time on your vacation and safe travels to you.
Thank you so much.
Fun.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Kay.
Hey,
All right.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.